you're always doing and trying to get more and achieve. You're indulging in an idea of what the future could feel like. So you know the feeling you're after, and you might say that like, no, I'm going to invest in like working because I know that one day that feeling is going to come that I know that I love so much. But you already know that feeling. You already know what you're after, which is just a present state of awareness where you're satisfied with yourself. You feel accomplished. You feel like you deserve love. You feel you're deserving. Overindulging but undersatisfied. Now that's a challenge worth investigating. I think a lot of us, especially if we're quite hard on ourselves, can tend to think that indulging is the issue. Not indulging is a real challenge for a lot of people. If your mind is not fully playing with the moment, really reaching out its tentacles, so to say, and really just allowing that engagement to happen, really, I think soaking it up is the right word for me. Your mind is not satisfied, even though your body might be satisfied from the cigarette you just indulged in, or maybe the brownie you just indulged in. I'm saying brownies because I just made some sweet potato brownies, no added sugar, just using dates to sweeten them. You know, we're on that vibe, man. I'm about to indulge in that shit later. What's your mind like as you're consuming something that you consider a treat? And consuming is not only food and beverage, you know, a glass of wine or a sweet treat. It can also be information, so like reading a book. I'm reading The Heartbeat of Trees, Embracing Our Ancient Bond with Forests and Nature. And I literally just came back from swinging around on trees. I think that the issue is not our desires and indulging in this kind of cheeky little monster that we have inside of us, but the lack of awareness when we do indulge things. I remember there was a nice little quote, which was to smokers, he's like, I wouldn't tell them to stop smoking, I just tell them to enjoy their cigarette, like fully appreciate the moment. I think he's getting exactly to the point of it. Nobody who actually enjoys the treat that they're giving themselves is gonna go to the extent of smashing an entire tray of brownies. I mean, unless you're starving, literally. If you're actually satisfied with consuming what you're consuming, then one movie is enough, then one piece of a brownie is enough, then one cigarette is enough, because you're actually just satisfied those nerve ends which feel like they wanna just enjoy something. Cut out everything else you're doing in that moment and to fully enjoy. Because then we actually are much more aware of what our treats do to us. I think any, like, let's say chain smoker would be fully conscious of the cigarette they're smoking every single time they're smoking a cigarette. They would never smoke as many as, like, you know, I'm not gonna go for a number here, but they definitely wouldn't be smoking a pack a day, because the feeling that you're left with when you smoke one cigarette might be okay, but then when you hit the third, fourth, you probably start feeling shit. If you're caught in thoughts, if you're doing things, you actually might be trying to use that as a way to return to your breath, as a way to return to the present moment. So it doesn't really matter what it is or what shape it takes on. I think it's just our mind trying to come back. So if you're snacking on sweets when you're super nervous, I think it's just, you know, you're looking for a strong taste and a stimulant almost to remind you of, okay, there's feelings here. And it's a chance to actually just come back into awareness. I think the exercise for all of us is to not shun and try to push away all our desire for indulgence, because it's actually one of the best possible ways to come back into present through the intensity. Like if you taste coffee and you really taste it, it's very strong. Wow, I have this experience of taste. It's taking me onto a journey. I have the wet dream of any barista out there. I ain't sponsored yet, but it might happen. So, but just be aware of that, because if your habits are basically telling you to go get something, that might be fine. You might actually, it might be smart to allow yourself that just a little bit, just to come back into the present moment, be like, okay, whoa, what's going on here? But then it's about bringing in that awareness, get away from the actual fear factor and come back into, okay, I'm just aware of my experience. Oh, we solved it, guys. We did it. But what's your relationship to indulging? I mean, I mainly shared this because I know that it's one of the biggest issues for me, is to actually, whether it's if I have a desire to play a computer game, or whether it's like I want to eat something sweet, or I want to indulge in like romantic relationships and all these things. I'm always kind of, I got this like this unhelpful mentality of like I shouldn't be feeling that way. I don't need it. I should, you know, be strong, all these things. And it's just like, bruh, it's an unnecessary harshness that works against me, because the indulgement is super important for the balance of life, right? Because if you're always doing and trying to get more and achieve, you're indulging in an idea of what the future could feel like. It's good to chase that, to try to build more, to try to build a future which is well informed, well thought out of, striving, but in a positive sense, right? For a better future, but basically just means that you're challenging yourself in beautiful ways. But at the same time, on the way, if you forget to remind yourself that the experience that you're after is already here and available, and you can give that to yourself in small, indulging treats, whether that is actually just a day of rest, something you haven't eaten in a while, but remember you love, most boring but plain but awesome baguette, which you're like, oh, white flour, I don't eat that stuff no more. If that's you, maybe that's something which could really give you and remind you of that, hey, it's okay, it's already there. Although I'm looking for something more and better, this is pretty awesome already, And I think that's the most, that's a beautiful opportunity that we have right now. I don't know who you are, but I hope this this might help on that journey. Don't forget don't forget the sweet things in life, I guess, because otherwise we dry out on our quest for more and in our striving. If we're always ambitious, we're gonna dry out if we don't forget to to, in a sense, surrender, but just maybe I like the word remind us more of this fact that what we're after is already just a feeling which is available right here and right now. Sit down, enjoy this coffee, do nothing else, no media, just gonna watch the sun coming up. If you're someone who's training a lot, give yourself a week where you're just gonna do what feels good, and that's it. You're gonna leave it at that. No striving, no like, oh, I know I could squeeze out more. Nah, just enjoy what you can do, and that's it, and leave it at that. Yeah, I think that's a real recipe for good ass brownie.